Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy, and today I want to talk to you guys about something that I've always wondered as a student that I never really got an answer to until not too long ago, and that is, how do you design something that's ergonomic, something that fits the hand, like a grip or a handle of some sort, or let's say for this video, a computer mouse. How would you go about designing something like this? And I just want to say, to start off, designing something like this is a different type of process than designing something like, let's say, this controller. For this controller, what typically a designer would do is, after the research phase, after the competitive phase, you would start sketching and you would start, figuring out what this thing will look like, right? So, I'm sketching and I'm like, yeah, like this is cool. I think that I want this remote control and it'll look like this. I'll have buttons like that, and maybe I'll have rounded corners, boom, 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 and yeah, done. Okay. So then after this phase, typically what I would do and what a lot of industrial designers do would go into the Cad phase, right? So this is like SolidWorks or Pro E, Rhino, whatever you choose to use. But I personally use SolidWorks, and you start building it. So what you do is you draw the square, with the right dimensions. You extrude it to add thickness, and then you add the buttons, and boom, you're done, right? But for something like this, there's a little bit more consideration you have to take, and that is, of course, not only do you have to figure out how to freaking build this type of organic shape in SolidWorks, which is something extremely hard. You got to use surfacing. You got to do a lot of crap. It's very difficult to design an organic shape than to design something that's very geometric. And then not only that, that's only like step one. Step two is you got to make sure it looks good, it works well, right? And the biggest part is that it fits the hand well. Now, how do you do something like that if it's on the screen, if it's on the computer, and you're building it to as close as you think it is, but you don't really know unless it's actually there in your hand and you're feeling it, right? So when you're drawing a curve in SolidWorks or in your program, you don't know if that curve is going to fit the hand well. And so this is something that I always wondered. And this is the reason why I create these videos, is to really answer those questions that I've always had. And I wish I knew this stuff when I was a student. So you guys are getting some valuable information. So good on you for watching these videos, of course, because, not everybody does this stuff. Not everybody goes out and seeks their own personal education, which I think is extremely important, because you're not going to learn everything in school, guys. You're not going to learn, the teachers are not going to teach you everything. A lot of things that I've learned is, taking the initiative to want to learn them, to figure things out, to be like, what, that's really cool. I want to learn that. And so you got to go online, you got to talk to people. And, if you guys are watching this videos, you guys are doing the right thing. Like 100% you guys are doing the right thing. This is something that I used to do all the time. But anyways, what you do is you don't go through that same process of designing this remote. What you do is you don't go from the sketch phase to the CAD phase. What you should do, the process is really, you move from the sketch phase to mock-up phase. So what is a mock-up? A mock-up, no, okay, don't make fun of me if I spell something wrong or read something wrong. I have dyslexia, which is actually very common with creative people or anybody that's artistic, and I've met a lot of industrial designers, and they also do the same thing. When I was growing up, I always thought I was stupid because I sucked at reading. I always thought maybe it's because I speak Vietnamese too, and so it's two languages that a kid is trying to learn, so they get really confused. I was super bad at reading and spelling and all that stuff, so I just thought I was stupid. But then later I grow up and I'm like, oh, it's dyslexia. People that are very artistic and creative usually get this. Not to say that if you're a good reader, you're not creative or anything like that. But usually what happens is, if you're really lacking in one certain area, like reading, it emphasizes another area because you're spending more time, you're spending more effort, and that's just how your brain works. If you guys know anything about Johnny Ives, he is the designer of Apple. A lot of people say he is the best designer ever, other than me. I'm just kidding. But I don't know, maybe. but I would say he's definitely the most accomplished designer. Everything that he's done with Apple and Steve Jobs and that legacy, amazing, right, guys? I don't think anybody will take that away from him. And he also has dyslexia. So I'm just like, how interesting. But anyways, if you guys also struggle with reading and stuff like that, it could just be dyslexia. Anyways, so what you do is you go to the mock-up phase, and the mock-up phase is you'll work with materials like foam or clay, and you'll build that sketch of your mouse. Let's draw one real quick. So he's like, yeah, I wanted to have this, and maybe I'll have a swoop, and maybe it will have this bevel, and it'll go up. Anyways, whatever. It's so hard to explain and talk and sketch all at the same time, guys. So please bear with my terrible sketches. Essentially, what you do is you move from this to the mock-up, okay? And the mock-up is a foam model or a clay model, and you make it to as closely as your sketches, as closely as you want it to be. You're checking it always to make sure it fits the hand well, to make sure the shapes are good and nice and all that good stuff. And so the question is now, how do you get this mock-up into CAD, right? Because that's the next step. So sketch, mock-up, CAD. How do you get it into the CAD? Well, what you do is you would want the best way to do it. Now, I'm sure there's other ways. Maybe you can figure it out. Some people, they like to do like pictures of it, and then they just do the top view, side view, rear and front, and then you kind of build it in that way. If you know anything about CAD, you put it in the CAD program, you put all those pictures in there, line them up orthographically, and then you just start from there. But a better way to do that actually is to 3D scan it. Now, if you guys don't know what 3D scanning is, essentially it's kind of like this, it could either be a stationary thing with a turntable, or it could be like this gun looking thing with camera lenses on it. And what that does is it essentially shoots beams, like invisible beams, at your product. And it'll shoot it, hit the surface, and bounce back. And the distance versus the time that it takes to bounce back and capture by the scanner, it starts to build like this geometric shape and this file for you. And what you can do is you take that file and put it into your CAD program. And so it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to look exactly like your model, but it's going to be good enough to use as reference. So what you do is, this is something that I always wondered too, is because I'm like, okay, so after I knew about 3D scanning, but I was like, so what do you do with that? Do you start cutting away and modifying and changing that file that you did? And does it come with all the features too? Like I always like it was a missing step that I just didn't have. But so what you do is you take that file from the 3D scanner, and essentially you can open it up and you could turn it around, move it around, and see your mock-up in the CAD program. And so you would use this file in order to create your own CAD file by starting from the beginning. Just like any CAD you would do, you would start from the beginning, you would draw it out. And so you would just try to as closely do it to as close as what that file of the 3D scanner gave you. And so that is essentially the process of creating a computer mouse or something that's extremely organic in CAD. Okay, now let's say you did it all right. So you don't want to just be like, okay, I'm done, and then you just throw your hands up and walk away and moonwalk, right? What you want to do is you 3D print it now. So you're using a 3D scanner, and then you're building it in CAD using it as using that file as reference, and then you 3D print what you have built. And that's when you start testing it. That's when you start going like, okay, it's actually pretty good. Maybe it can grow a little in size. Maybe I could add a little bit of stuff here. So you take, now that you have that 3D print, you can start using clay and then just adding the clay on to the 3D print, shaping it to the way you like, making sure it looks good, feels good. And then you can 3D scan it again. And once you 3D scan it again, now you have another file that is a little bit closer to what you want. And you keep doing this process back and forth, back and forth. You scan it, build it, print it, scan it, build it, print it. Or what some people do, if they just kind of, if it works for them, is they'll scan it, build it, print it, and then they'll just figure out, oh, maybe I need a little bit more here. Then instead of scanning it in again and rebuilding it again, they'll just modify it in the computer. But now at this level, you can kind of eyeball things because overall it works, and you're just kind of adding a little bit more meat on certain areas in order to make it how you want. And so that's definitely another possibility that you can do if it works for you, if that system works for you, or you can just rescan it again and then build it. And anyways, so essentially that's what you do, and you keep doing that until you finally get that shape that you're looking for, that production version, that final version where you're going to send out to suppliers and get quotes and get it manufactured and built. So, woo! I hope you guys followed all of that, and let's break it down. Let's break it down, okay? So you first start off, with the design process. You start off with the sketch. Then you move into the physical, right? And then that you do a 3D scan, and then you get a file from this so you get a Cad reference file that you eventually throw into your CAD file, your CAD program, like SolidWorks or whatever, what I was talking about, right? And then you start building the thing. So you start building the thing as you would a normal product. And then once you have this, you'll 3D print it. I don't even know why I freaking did it like this. I don't even know, guys. Again, it's really hard to talk and to sketch and everything to draw at the same time. Then you 3D print it so that you're verifying. This is all about going back and forth, verifying to see what you did is correct, what you did is what you want. So when you have a 3D print again, so now you'll have a foam model, right, from here, and then now you also have a 3D print that is based off of this, and you'll test it, and maybe you need to tweak some things, and then you kind of just go back to this and pretty much do this again and again until eventually you'll get that thing that you want. Boom! And that's how you design something like a computer mouse or anything that's organic. This is something that I really never heard anybody else talk about or explain to me, not in school, not anywhere, and I had to figure it out myself, so you're welcome, guys. But that's about it, guys. I want to make this one a little bit shorter. I know I didn't sketch very much or even very good the things that I did, but I really just wanted to explain that, just get it all down, and so that you guys know exactly how that works. And I'm pretty tired, just coming home from an 8-hour day, dude, and trying to shoot these YouTube videos. So I really hope you guys appreciate it. I am planning on creating some t-shirts, some design t-shirts, design t-shirts that you guys can identify your guys as designers. So let me know down in the comments if you guys would be interested in something like that. That is going to be coming in the next couple of weeks or something. It's something that I've been working on the side too. So along with this YouTube channel and the business that I've been trying to start, it's a lot to do, and so I hope you guys have been appreciating it. If you did, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Also hit that subscribe button so that my videos come right to you guys. If you guys are new, also if you know somebody that would benefit from these videos, and I'm sure you do, all industrial designers, you're not alone, Cat. I'm pretty sure you guys got friends and people that also want to be designers and classmates and coworkers and whatnot. Share these videos with them. I'm sure they'll appreciate it and enjoy it, and if not, then whatever, right? And also leave a comment down below if there's anything else you'd like me to talk about. If you have any questions about industrial design, also leave it down in the comments. If I can't answer them, hopefully somebody else will. Make this a discussion, guys. All right, this is Jimmy, and I will catch you in the next video.